Hey guys, I'm Tim.
And I'm Dan.
This is the Board Game Rundown. Today we are going to talk about a little bit of news. I got a little bit of Kickstarter, so whatever you got.
Cool.
Also. And then we got like a top 5 list because it's Mother's Day, the day we're filming this. Right? I hope so. Because otherwise this list is going to be really weird. And it would be like, and the idea behind the list is top 5 games you would play with your mom on Mother's Day. So hopefully that's fun. So just in news, I heard something on a podcast that I listened to, and I thought this was kind of interesting because it's stuff that just as sort of a player of board games and a consumer of board games, I eat them. I thought was really interesting because I would never consider it. And like, so Portal Games, for example, had this party game that they were going to release this summer, right?
Uh-huh.
You know, so it's like 6 players, 8 players, 10 players, 12 players. And now they are waiting. Because
no one's going to play a huge game.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So they're kind of, it's not canceled or anything like that. The game is made. They're just delaying its release until stuff blows over.
Sure.
And I just thought that was really interesting. Like how different ways that like today's situation and scenario affects the industry.
Sure.
And I wanted to say to him on the podcast, well, hey man, just make everybody in the group get the game, and then you could play it. Maybe you're able to play it online, you know, like via Zoom or something. If everybody's got a copy of the game.
That's true.
Because I've been doing that. I've been playing games via Zoom, and it's okay. It's not the worst.
Sure.
I get to play games.
Depends on the game.
So it's better than nothing, which is terrible. But anyways, that's kind of the news I had, was just that I thought that it's interesting now to see how stuff is going to get released. I know that some stuff is being delayed, you know, a little bit. But like the flat out, like, we're going to just shelve this party game until stuff blows over a little bit. I was like, whoa, I never would have even thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of basic marketing 101.
Yeah,
right?
so
like
you're smart.
Our audience is gone. We will wait until our audience returns.
Right. That's fair. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. And makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's very light on news today. Kickstarter.
Not much happening.
Also very light on Kickstarter for me because I did not see a ton of stuff.
Oh, yeah, me neither.
Did you? You got a bunch of Kickstarters?
No, I did not look.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Whoops.
No. Okay, so I got 2. I wrote one down because it actually legitimately looks interesting. It's called Sea of Legends. Have you heard of this one yet? So by the time this airs, there'll still be like 3 weeks left in it.
Okay.
It is a sandbox pirate game.
Okay, sounds good.
So you can win by being a fun pirate, by picking up and delivering. You can raid other people's things. I don't know, Pirates
All
of
those
Penzance.
fun pirates.
Yeah. But anyways, like, so a 4X sandbox pirate game.
Yeah.
Seems kind of neat.
Sounds good.
There's critters, you know.
I've talked to someone recently about how we need something like that. I know there was that game that came out not too long ago, right? Literally called like Pirates, and then it was called like Pirates, an adventure game or something.
Okay, sure, have
it. Yeah, but anyway, that game came out and it got pretty good reviews. But I was just like, man, it's kind of like a Western Legends, right?
Uh-huh.
As a matter of fact, it's called Sea of Legends. Is this made by the same people that did Western Legends?
It is not a Colossal Games game.
I
think.
But yeah, so we finally had a huge open world cowboy game that seemed to went over really well with people who want a Western game. So now
I have it, but have not played it yet.
Yeah,
I got it right before quarantine.
I didn't think the game looked amazing for me, but I thought that, like, wow, did they hit the thematic?
It looks fun.
They got really thematic.
Yeah.
Thematic pirate game sounds cool. I've been looking for a nice thematic pirate game because most pirate games, while they're fun, don't get super thematic with it, or they get thematic in a really weird B movie, like what's that? Something Tide, Rum and Tide.
What?
What's that?
Are you Stranger Tides? Are you thinking about Pirates of the Caribbean?
No, there's a super famous pirate game where it's like anyway, whatever, and then there's
Rum and Bones.
Rum and Bones. See, I was kind of close, but like Rum and Bones, right? Pirate game, but like
Rum and Tide. That sounds like the next challenge for everybody to do. You'd get like a Tide Pod and some rum.
God.
Do not endorse this.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying you're a millennial, so that probably applies.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but. Point is, pirate games haven't had a cool, super sandboxy thematic game that I know of.
No.
Libertalia, super famous pirate game, but not pirate.
No. Yeah, no, this looks really neat. It It's got a ton of minis and stuff, which I like, which is not always popular. But I do like 4X games, right?
Yep.
Like, I like different paths to victory. I like kind of having played a bunch of role-playing games and things like that. You know, it's kind of fun to go, okay, this is my angle. I've got my story to tell, like, as I'm doing this, and these are my motivations. And it does one of my favorite things. It's got 2 pledge levels. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Talked about that last week.
Right. You got $90 for the core game and then whatever stretch goals, right? And then $155 and you get all these expansions with it and the core game.
That's not a huge jump. That's pretty good.
Right. And there's a ton of expansions. Like, I'm not going to list them all or anything like that, but it looks kind of cool. I've definitely got my eyeball on it. We'll see where we're at. But it looks very interesting. And then one that it's funny, is there is it's not necessarily a deck building game, but it is Battle of the Boy Bands. So you play like a J-pop, K-pop, you know, boy band kind of thing, and you're making your boy band and you're battling other boy bands.
Okay. In a card game?
Yeah. It seemed hilarious.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't say good.
There's an audience.
It's
an
fun,
audience
dude.
for everything.
It's happening. It's coming, whether you want it or not. It is going to be on someone's shelf.
I will not answer the question.
You're not going to answer the call?
Yeah, I won't answer whether I'm interested or not.
Oh, fair enough.
Not on camera.
But yeah.
I have one Kickstarter.
Okay.
I haven't talked about this before, ever. But there's this little game called Nemesis Lockdown.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is Nemesis?
Yeah, it's not on Kickstarter yet.
It's still coming.
I'm going to talk about this every week.
It's fine.
Until it comes out.
It's fine.
So, Nemesis Lockdown, Alien, the board game.
And we've got Alien on the brain anyways.
Correct.
Yeah,
we've been talking about it a lot. We both watched. Well, I saw the first movie. You saw more than that.
Oh, yeah. I've rewatched, 4.
I'm planning on watching all of them, which is funny because separately we planned that, I guess, because I don't know.
We did not discuss this, but yet have done the same thing.
But anyway, Alien on the mind and the board game.
Nemesis.
It's so good.
Nemesis is so good. It's
so good.
Super good. We actually have a review on it on this YouTube channel, so you could go back and see.
Yes, we do. I wasn't there.
No, it was Spencer's game we used.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
Yay, Spencer. Congratulations.
But, it's good to keep talking about that one, because Awakened Realms is amazing.
I know that it's not like they need more eyes on their products.
Right.
Like, everyone, has heard of them or heard of a game of theirs, even if you didn't know it and everything. But I'm going to keep drawing attention to them because I think they deserve it. So, Nemesis by Awakened Realms.
Amazing.
So good.
Amazing. Okay. So we're going to get into our Mother's Day topic today. Top 5 games to play with your mother or my mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know your mom, so I don't know. She's probably cool.
If you ever hang out with her, here's 5 games.
Sweet.
That you could play with her.
Right. And I've got 5 games in case you end up playing games with my mom.
Oh, sweet. I'll make that appointment.
So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first. You usually go first.
Okay, that's fine. So, not necessarily in any particular order.
I was about to say that as well. Yep.
I tried to stay... Let's just put it out there for me, not to blow up your list. I don't know what your list is, but not to blow it up. But I didn't really put any party games on the list.
Okay.
I did a bunch of kind of what I would consider just beyond gateway games on my list. So the first one I put on is Paranormal Detectives.
Okay.
Have you played it?
No, I've seen the cover. I know about it.
Sure. So it's a really neat and fun sort of deduction game. One person is dead. They are the spirit. And they know how they died and where they died and who killed them.
Oh, it's like a simplified Mysterium kind of thing?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So yes is in, that's the theme.
Oh, okay.
So everybody else, they're not necessarily mediums, right? But they're detectives trying to deduce.
I'm going to guess they're paranormal detectives.
Yes, because you're a ghost.
Gotcha.
So what they do, though, is everybody's got the same, I forget how many actions, cards in their hand. Okay. It's an action you can do. And that is the way that you want the ghost to give you a clue. It may be via ghost writing. So if somebody plays that card and asks, how did you die? Then the ghost basically takes the person that asked the question's hand and writes,
makes them write
writes something with it, right? Or you might draw a letter on their back or a symbol on their back.
Okay.
That's a different one. There's one where you you don't whisper it in their ear. You just kind of whisper it because everybody gets to hear, or not. Well, some depending on the clue, like a bunch of people can hear.
Sure, just like how everyone would see your hand draw.
Right. So people can kind of then. So you're trying to be the first one to deduce how it died, how they died, and where, and the details. And so, so everybody's going through and it's like, oh, it was this and there it's this. And it's really neat. There's a ton of them in the box. There's like a ton of different, characters like that have died. And so there's lots of replayability. It was super fun. I actually did play this game with my mother around Christmas because I got the game for Christmas. And it was a blast. It's really good and was a ton of fun. So, Paranormal Detectives.
Well, that's actually, before I do my first one, I should mention really quick. So what you just said, so this is a list to play with your mom, but yours tend to lean towards hypothetical?
No, well, I haven't played all of these with my mom, but I will, or would.
Okay, I was going to say...
I played most of these with my mom.
So for my list, this was pretty easy, but it's just because I have played like 8 games with my mom. So I picked, the 5 she liked the most.
Sure. I see my mom like 3 times a year, so it's like, okay.
Okay. So I'll just actually, once again, I'm just gonna say this not even in order on the page. So I'll just start with the party game. Get it out of the way, right?
Sure.
Easiest thing ever. My list is going to be a bit, if you've heard me talk before, it's going to be a bit repetitive. I've talked about these games in the past.
That's fine.
But so just one.
Fantastic game.
Just one. Just play it with anybody. Yep. I literally, I spent a little bit of time with my mom today, and we sat down and we played just one.
Perfect.
Today.
Perfect.
So,
it applies.
It's just everyone I've ever played this game with loves this game. And it's weird because when you first describe it, people always act like it sounds too simple.
Like what?
Yeah, they're just like, you're just writing, and then I'm just like, trust me, it's funny. And then you play like one round, and everyone's holding their sides and like, you suck.
The best rounds are when all the clues get eliminated.
Yeah, and the person just sits there and they're like, pickle.
Yep.
Like, I don't know.
Yep. When that happened, we had in our group, the default answer was Batman.
Oh, okay.
It was always just
It'll
Batman.
be right eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
Batman is on one of the cards.
But so just one. So you pick a word on a card. You don't see the card, obviously. Everyone else has to write one-word clues to get you to guess the word that's on your card. But first, they have to show each other, and if any of them wrote the same word, they get eliminated. Just like Scattergories, I believe, is where that's from. Right? Yeah. I believe Scattergories is the first game I know of that if you write the same thing as someone else, it gets eliminated. But then you look at all the clues, guess a word. Next round, next person.
Move on.
Super simple. It's just a little guessing game. But
it's technically co-op, right? So, like, depending on your player count, you go to, like, 13, and you see how many you got, and you're like, yay! Most of the time I've played this game, I've never kept score. We just play until we're kind of done.
Are you kidding me? 13 cards and we're done? Boring. We probably go through 40 cards when we play at least. but great party game. One of just my favorite party games I've ever played.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So, just one. Thanks.
Just one's great. My number 4, again, in no particular order, but I will with the caveat, my number 1 is the number 1.
Okay.
Number 4 is Taverns of Tiefenthal. It's such a good game. It's very easy to teach, but there's enough strategy there to, like, kind of scratch that itch, for, like, something a little more crunchy. But, yeah, man, dice drafting, deck building, action, so, kind of... I love it. Have you not played it yet?
No, great game.
Oh, okay.
Great game. I own it.
Oh, fantastic.
Fantastic game.
Yep.
I left a comment on the review of Taverns of Tiefenthal because in the review they mentioned how it's one of the easiest games to teach, and I think you literally say, I could play this with my mother in that video, and I'm like...
Not with your mom?
I mean, I could sit down and teach her, right? She's not a moron.
Disclaimer.
She's watching.
Right.
But it's just that game has so many mechanics in it that
Sure.
it's. I just don't think it's one of the easiest games to teach.
That's
you
fair.
can teach it fine, but
if you played with no modules, that game is really easy to teach.
Sure, I
roll
just
the dice, pass one, pick one.
It's not even that complicated. I just think that you do have to show them. So, okay, Mom, do you understand deck building? Do you understand drafting?
I wouldn't even go to
Do
that.
you understand
I wouldn't even
placement?
I wouldn't even go that deep into it.
No, I don't think you have to. But what I'm saying is those things are all in the game.
Sure.
So you are teaching a bunch of different mechanics.
Sure. Not on my list. Could be on my list. But like my mom, we play like DC Deck Builder and things like that. So yeah, she is familiar with concepts. Yahtzee. You know.
Yeah, sure.
So for us, taverns was a very easy,
Sure.
logical step.
Sure, not trying to say it's a bad pick. I just think it's funny that you bring that up
He hates
because
my
in
pick.
that video,
You're like,
you talk
"Not
about
my
that,
mom."
and I was like, because it's not even that mom related. I'm just saying in the video you say like super easy game to teach. You could teach anyone, and I was like, I disagree. I think that
That's fair.
It's way easier when people have prerequisite knowledge when it
Sure.
comes to that game.
Sure. Why? Okay. No, it's fine. What do you got? What do you got for
I'm
me?
always fine.
So taverns is my number 4.
Yeah, sorry.
And I love it.
After that rant, great game. Play it. Let's see. What should I do next? Let's see. I'll do this one next.
You're gonna hate my third one.
Ooh.
Yeah. You didn't like
next,
taverns.
super simple. Dice Town.
I have not played Dice Town.
Oh, really? You haven't played Dice Town? So it's like Yahtzee poker. You know?
Okay.
You're literally you play like Liar's Dice, where you shake up 5 dice, you put it down, but the dice have like 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace
right on
it, and you have to pick 1 die to keep. And then you shake up the rest, and depending on what you have, so the person with the most 10s gets this, the person with the most jacks gets this, and you just go down this town. It's like a town layout, and you can spend money to keep additional dice. So like I can keep 1 die, but like I have 3 aces, I'm gonna pay $2 to keep 2 additional dice.
Oh, right on.
And so you might finish before other people finish, but that means they can play off your hand.
Sure.
Right, and stuff like that. They see what you have, and yeah, it's literally a poker liar's.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Game. It's super fun. Very simple. It's like I said, I introduced it to my mom because she likes games like card games, like poker and euchre and that kind of stuff.
My number 1 game is specifically because of other games that I played with my. So I get it.
So yeah,
I get
Dice
it.
Town is just a really simple game that I think the theme, while it could feel pasted on, I think it fits what you're doing really well, and things make sense, which makes it easy to teach. You know, obviously, you know, things are a little ambiguous with like why do the queens get you cards from the market, but you know, whatever. It all makes sense. Game. Dice Town, great little competitive. Another one of those King of Tokyo Yahtzee.
Hey,
a lot of those games.
I love Liar's Dice, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I love playing Liar's Dice. Like it's so much fun. Okay, so Dice Town. I'm gonna have to play Dice Town.
Yeah, fun game.
You probably takes like a half hour? Does it take that long to play?
Yeah, I mean, it depends how many people you play with, right? But I would say, especially if you're teaching, sure, it's going to take 30, 45 minutes probably. It's a pretty fast game.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So my number 3 is a little out there, but the theme and the components of the game
Horrible pick.
will get exactly. Will get it would draw my mom in.
Okay.
And while it is definitely a little bit more complicated, it is a straight co-op game. So I feel like that alleviates some of it, right? Because you're all working together, so you could, without quarterbacking, you can give some suggestions and be like, okay, well, this wouldn't do this and this and this. But it's called Rescue Polar Bears.
Oh, okay. I know what it is. I've never played
it. The bits are amazing because they're little. You got mommy polar bears and daddy polar bears and baby polar bears, and the ice caps are melting, and you're popping in with these ships, and you're trying to rescue the polar bears, and you don't want them to die when the ice melts.
Want them to die.
You don't want the polar bears to die, and you really don't because they're super cute pieces, and the boats are cool looking. Anyways, I really like this game. I look for an excuse to play it anyways because it's fun and the pieces are really cool. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's very challenging, but when you win, it is just that much more satisfying.
I think that's the game I'm thinking of. That it's a really good solo game. Have you done solo?
I have not done solo yet.
Yeah, I've
but
heard
yes,
it's a really good
you
solo
can play
game.
it solo.
Because
sure.
you have those face down numbers you flip, right?
Yep.
And that tells you where ice melts or
yes.
something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Different things happen, right.
Different things, okay.
But sure. Yep. Ice melts for sure.
Ice does melt.
Ice
You've
does
heard
melt.
it here first.
News. But yeah, Rescue Polar Bears. Super fun. Really cute. Tough, but really good.
I just realized that this probably counts as a party game. So this is
It's
the
okay.
second one for me.
Not gonna hurt my feelings.
I don't think of it as a party game, but it totally is for some reason.
What's that?
Sheriff of Nottingham.
I don't consider that
See,
a party
I
game
don't
either.
Consider it a party
And that was
game.
almost on my list.
Yeah. We have played that game so many times in my household.
Love Sheriff of Nottingham so much.
My mom just seems to really like, again, going back to poker and stuff like that, she seems to like bluffing.
Lying.
Yeah, bluffing. Like I almost, for a second, I almost put almost like a catch-all of like a hidden traitor, like a Hail Hydra. You know, like I almost put something like that because she really likes that tricking people into trusting her.
I'm going to ask you about a game when this list is done because I don't want to
yeah, sure.
risk jumping ahead on your list. Wow, Sheriff of Nottingham is such a good game.
So Sheriff of
much fun.
Nottingham, so you're going into Nottingham, and the sheriff is like at the gate, like, hey, what do you have in your bag? And you tell him, so like you put stuff in apples,
cheese,
that kind of stuff. But
maybe
you
you got pepper in there.
Contraband,
maybe you got pepper,
in there. And so you tell the sheriff, you're like, I am coming into town with 3 apples, and then the sheriff then takes this, and they're like, do I?
Because you put it in a little bag.
Yeah.
And it snaps shut.
Well, never snap it shut though. At least not the version I have. Those things break so easily. Yeah. But and it's just like, do I trust Tim or not? So I either give Tim his stuff back or open it and don't trust him. And then if he's telling everything he's telling the truth for, I have to pay him. But everything he's lying about, he has to pay me. And it just goes around.
My favorite thing to do is to pass my bag with some coins.
Of course,
right?
The game is very ambiguous about how much you can just bet or promise things. Like you can just be like, hey, if you don't check my bag this time, I won't check your bag next time. But then you can totally check their bag. The game specifically says in the rule book, if you make future promises, you do not have to hold to them.
It's so much fun. It is so cutthroat.
Yeah.
I just want to play Sheriff. Like, can we just stop the show and go play Sheriff of Nottingham right now?
Well, the thing I really like about Sheriff of Nottingham too is there's been many times where I've played and won without lying a single time.
Yeah.
It is a game you can totally do that. A lot of lying and bluffing games rely on you being able to trick people, and this one is almost the opposite. It's almost like, can you trick people into not believing you?
And what I like to do sometimes, because it's not as obvious, right? Because the all the regular goods cards have a green border.
Yeah.
The contraband has a red border.
Yes.
So you can put up to 5 goods in one bag, and the only truthful thing you have to say when you hand that bag over is the number of goods, right?
The goods, yeah.
Number of goods in that bag. So what I like to do is do 2 cheese and maybe there's some apples in there, right? So then you're like, I've got 3 cheese.
Exactly.
Right? And you're like, okay, fine, whatever. There's some haggling. Maybe you're going back and forth. Boom, your cheese gets through. And then you put your cards out, what you got. Well, if you don't have that red border, it's not always obvious that you lied.
You if
they're not watching you and they just think. And then somebody else is like, hey,
where'd your apples come from?
Well, no, man. They just fell off the card.
Oh, they must have been in the bag.
My bad. That's weird how that happened.
I mean, apples and cheese look a lot alike. I get them confused all the time.
But yeah, no, sorry to jump. That's just a fun thing that happens.
Fantastic game if you like bluffing, and it's a game that one of the things that's really nice about this type of party game, I guess a lot of party games do this, but the game is fine, but it's the interactions that make the experience and make it memorable. Like almost every time I play, I have to create a character. Like, I'm just like, so I'm just trying to get 3 apples into town. So
I'll tell you what, there has not been one time where I play the sheriff that I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like just any kind of animation.
You're trying to sneak things past me.
Yeah. All kinds of stuff.
I love getting into characters.
What's all this then?
Like, if you get into character, then other people at the table slowly start creating characters. Then you just have a bunch of people like, I don't believe it. Like, amazing.
Oh, you lie. All kinds of stuff. It's so good. It's so good.
Sheriff of Nottingham, fun, bluffing, but you don't have to. Game.
Oh, it's so good. Okay. No, that's a great pick. I absolutely love that game. My number 2 is Wingspan.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's a little heavier. But I think that the theme and the nice components kind of will keep people locked in. And it's not super hard to play or to teach. But it can be hard to be good at.
It has really good, not iconography, but like, everything is so like, this is a worm, this is this, and everything, this is an egg.
These go here. Everything's very clear. It's very well designed. Is it elegant?
It's almost elegant.
It's not as elegant as viticulture. But no, Wingspan is super, it's really nice. It's pretty to look at. It's very, like I said, there's to be really good at it, right? And to craft like a strategy, you really kind of have to turn on your game brain.
You can do that in that game?
Oh, yeah, man.
I'm just kidding.
I always lose because I can't do that.
I suck at that game.
But I do really like the game, and it's deceptive because you're like, oh, this is easy, and you're playing, and then you see these people start rattling off these crazy combos with their birds, right? And no, it's super good. I really like Wingspan. Action selection, set collection.
That game does a really amazing thing, too, where It's one of those games do this, but it's one of those games where every single card is different.
Yeah.
There's no repeats, and yet it somehow feels mostly balanced. I think I've heard some people talk online that there's this one card that can mess certain strategies up and stuff. But overall, it's amazing that every card in the deck is different, and everyone is going to get all different cards then on their board, and yet you feel like you've got a chance. You're building this engine.
Oh, yeah.
It's very impressive.
Who knew there were that many different kinds of birds?
There's birds. I thought it was there's bluebird.
Yeah.
There's red bird. No, cardinal. Ugh, dang it.
No, I don't like to talk about Cardinals. I'm a Cubs fan.
Gotcha.
But yeah. No, Wingspan's on my list. It is a little heavier. If your mom is not a gamer, like it's tough to just break that out with in-laws that have never played games. Mm-hmm. But if you're already playing some games, that's not a bad one to just kind of like put in the pile and be like, hey, look.
It's definitely a box that, like, if you had a bunch on a shelf and you're like, pick a game, and they just saw like the box artwork and stuff,
there,
they'd be like, let's see, Twilight Imperium, or Taverns of Tiefenthal,
Space
or this
Hulk.
bird thing. I like the bird thing. Yeah,
right.
It's very attractive, like from a distance box.
Yeah, nice pastels. Yeah. The colors are.
I love that pastel look.
It's very Bob Ross. Oh, it's not Bob Ross necessarily, but
famous for his pastel work.
Good Lord, settle down. He wasn't? Okay, what's your number 2?
My number 2.
What do you got?
She loved this game.
I've never heard of that game. That's weird.
She actually, when I was leaving today, I told her that the topic was going to be this, and she said, "Oh, you have to include Space Base."
Spot on impression of your mother.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, it's funny you say Space Base because I almost put Machikoro on my list. Sure. And not that they're the same, but the mechanics are the same, right?
Sure. Very relatable.
Space Base.
Space Base. You roll dice and you get cards and...
Space Base is super good. It's really good.
Great
roll
game.
Dice.
It's a game similar to Villainous to me, to where I think it's a great game, very solid game. Space Base, for what it is, goes a little long, from my experience. Yeah, exactly.
Villainous goes
long.
Space Base does go too long.
Like, just for what it is. It doesn't go like, oh, this is a 4-hour game, but you feel like, even after like just an hour and a half, you're just like, this is a little too long for what you're doing in this game.
Sure.
But basically, you roll 2 dice on your turn. You pick to either use them together, so a 1 and a 5 is a 6, or use it as a 1 and a 5. And you activate your cards on your board. The blue side of your cards on your board gets you stuff. And then you can upgrade cards, which flips them upside down to the red side. Then when other people roll things, you can use the red side of that card.
When they roll, yeah.
When they roll, yes. And you're just building this engine, getting more money each turn, buying more cards, and so you can either, like 7 is a very rolled number on 2 dice, so you can either focus 7, or you can just have a bunch of cards everywhere instead, and just like kind of hope for a shotgun effect on your thing. And so there's strategy in it. It's just a really fun, simple little engine building game. I wish the theme mattered more, and I wish it played a little faster. But other than that, fantastic game. Do we have a review?
We do have a review. I believe you sat in on that review.
Yeah, that's so weird.
You probably reviewed your copy. No, I love Space Base. I don't own it, but I want to.
Yeah.
Right? I think mostly the reason I haven't is because my wife plays Machikoro, and I haven't yet, but I'm planning on teaching it to my 8-year-old because I think now she can handle it. And it's just, she might get mad when we start stealing her money.
Yeah.
But she's going to enjoy stealing our money.
Well, then that's the thing with Space Base then, is they take out all that cool money stealing stuff,
Yeah.
And instead they just put in a you win card. I'm so amazed I have not ripped that card up yet and thrown it away.
I just leave it in the box.
The example of ruining a game. Like, I'm trying to think of another board game I own that, like, what is, like, one card I could put in that game that, like, Wingspan is a game full of cards. You just put one card in there that if someone gets it, it says, destroy another person's engine. Like, it's like, this isn't fun.
Right.
What is this card?
Punch the player next to you in the face.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, Space Base, super good. I really like it.
Yep.
Want to play it more.
Fantastic, simple engine building game. People tend to love it, and a great introductory for that. You show them Space Base, then you can move on to other, not straight to Terraforming Mars maybe, but then you can start introducing those other games. That's like, that mechanic that you already know. Here's a more thinky version, because Space Base is definitely not thinky.
Not super thinky. Yeah. Unless you play it with thinky people. Then the game goes really long.
Sure, any game could be thinky, I guess, but like, is the time you're putting into thinking worth what you're actually doing in the game? And no, it's not in Space Base. So
I'll just wing it, man.
Yep. Space Base.
All right. Well, my number one, and this game this is the one game that I've actually worn out a copy of. And I have bought copies of this game for other people. I love this company. They do giveaways all the time. And I've actually won some of their games on their giveaways. And then I just give them because I already have them, because I really like all their games. So I just give them away to people because I'm like, you must play these games. Scheming and Skulking.
No, I don't know it. For some reason, the way you said that sentence, I was like, is he going to say Cosmic Encounter?
No, I wish. Yeah. No, Scheming and Skulking is so simple. It's so beautiful. And the reason Scheming and Skulking it's so accessible is because it's like euchre, but with extra rules. Or spades.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so Grandpa Beck's Games puts out like a line of games, and they've got all kinds of games. And all their games are super family friendly and very fun and accessible. But Scheming and Skulking is like the game where it's like, oh, you don't play games? Like you don't play board games or anything like that? Well, you know how to play spades or euchre, right? We're going to play this game. Mm-hmm. And then people sit down and play, and then I have been in playing games where people have ordered it like before we were done playing to like have it delivered to their house, or have gone out to game stores and bought it because they're like, it's euchre, it's pirates. You've got suits, right? There's like parrots, maps, what are there? Oh, parrots, treasure maps.
Swords?
Jolly Rogers. So the Jolly Roger is technically like the spade card, okay? And then you have pirates. And so pirates trump anybody else, right? They trump any of the suits. Okay? Then there's the Skull King. Because Scheming and Skulking. So the Skull King, he is over all the pirates. Okay? And then you have escape cards. So it's like a boat, like sailing away. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing, is before every round, everybody is going to, at the same time, go 1, 2, 3, you're going to hold up so many fingers. That's how many books you're going to take, or tricks you're going to take.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're off, you lose 10 points for each one you're off.
Jeez.
And if you're right, you get 10 points for the number you got. And if you say 0, you get 10 points for whatever round it is. You play 10 rounds. So the first round, everybody starts with 1 card. And so you go 1, 2, 3, boom. But if you and I both do that, it's like, well, one of us is going to be sad.
Yeah.
Right? And so you try to figure it out, right? So you get, and so then round 2, you got 2 cards. Round 3, 3 cards. So on and so forth. We play this game with like 8 people, 10 people. And it goes nuts. We get crazy because you're yelling and you're like, no, I got 3, or I got 4. I'm supposed to get this many tricks. And then you're like, you're waiting. Sometimes you're waiting, right? Because you've got like a 10. And you need to either be able to throw off suit or somebody throw like a higher card because you don't want to take any books this round. Like, I don't want to take any. So you're just waiting. You're waiting. And there's the drama, right? Where it's like, oh no, Tim got one. And it's hilarious. The table talk is really like a big thing. Everybody's, taunting and harassing everybody. And then but yeah, so it's euchre but better.
Sure.
And then another fun thing we do, and I make everybody do it, is that when you bid at the beginning of each round, you go, yo, ho, ho. And then you hold out however many you want. We play this in hotel lobbies where we're all like banging on the table and loud. And it's fantastic. Scheming and Skulking. I love that game. I play it all the time. Wore out a copy. Had to buy a new copy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Laminate those cards.
Scheming and Skulking. Super good. Super good.
Sounds fun. I've talked in a previous video, I think, that I tend to stay away from trick-taking games in general. I feel like I'm bad at them.
Then you need to play with me, so that will be better.
Yeah. I can win?
What? You're welcome. But, I'm gonna hand you your first victory in a trick-taking game.
I like when themes are put on that kind of
and
stuff.
And I don't love euchre.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love euchre.
Like my mom, I don't even remember how to play it right now offhand, but I remember my mom taught us a game when we were really young called Ship Captain Crew.
Yep.
And we all loved that.
That's a dice game, though, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm just saying that I remember her teaching us that, and it's interesting when you take a game that's clearly just a pokery, that kind of game, and you're just like, theme. This will get people in.
Right.
So
no, but the artwork, it actually, all the pirates are members of the family that puts out the game.
Oh, okay.
So Grandpa Beck, like the guy who the company's named after, is actually the Skulking.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fun.
That's fun. I bet he has fun playing that with his family. Oh, it's Johnny.
Yeah, right. Look at this dummy.
So, my number one is...
Twilight Imperium.
Yeah, love it. No, my number one is a heavier game, though.
Okay.
And it's because... The reason it's number one is because it's the only heavy game. And also because literally every time I go see her, she says, "Did you bring Caverna?"
Oh, what?
She loves...
Misery Cave?
She loves Caverna. And is that partly because it's the only like real worker placement game I've got her to play yet? Maybe. That might be related. Maybe
That's
maybe
fine.
she just likes worker placement games. But yeah, there's just something about, I think, the idea of doing your own farm and your own, you know.
No, Caverna's awesome.
And yeah.
I will play... Agricola is a very good game. I recognize that it is a good game. I don't have fun playing Agricola. Caverna, I have fun playing. I like Caverna a lot. And I know they're very similar.
Off topic slightly. I was in one of my Facebook groups I'm in that's board game related. And someone posted something the other day that said, name a board game that you would love to change the title of, and why is it Agricola? And that's like the post they said. I thought that was hilarious. But
sure. To be fair, it's a great game.
Yeah,
it is very well designed. It is good at what it does. I don't really love it.
I played Caverna first, so when I played Agricola, I was like, oh, okay, this is like a more constricted Caverna,
like a meaner, less fun Caverna.
Yeah, basically.
It's not nice.
Basically, yeah. But no, Caverna is a basic worker placement game. You are dwarves, and you have everyone has a player board. Half of it is like forest, and half of it is cave. And you can't do everything, so you kind of choose like, okay, am I going to work on my cave, or am I going to work on my forest? Am I going to farm animals? Am I going to be an ore collector, an adventure going? Like the thing with Caverna is you literally start the game, and you kind of just point at a component of the game, and you're like, I'm focusing that one now,
right? And
you can totally win by doing that, as long as you do it well enough. And it's definitely a game where, like, say you're focusing on farming, and you start seeing that Tim over here is starting to focus on farming, I either need to shut Tim down like crazy, or I need to have a backup strategy I start working on right now. Because if anyone else starts working on what you're working on, you're not going to be able to pull out a victory by just doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can totally win by just doing one thing, but if anyone else at the table is smart, they're going to decide, okay, well, we can't let him get away with that.
Right.
So I'll do it for one round. I'll go first, and I'll take the thing one time, and that instantly is like, oh, what else am I going to do?
I have to do something different.
But yeah, worker place game. Get your wood, get your stone.
That's a heavy game, too.
It's a heavy game. It's not even, like, literally.
Oh, it literally is a
it's a
15-pound game.
It takes a while to... luckily, I have a nice the Daedalus insert name drop. Daedalus. I have the Daedalus insert, which literally is designed so that everything comes out of the box. It's not like Broken Token. I have some Broken Token that, like, you put it in the box, and it's almost like you should just glue it in the box for a lot of the ones I have, like Dead of Winter and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Because it's not coming out without breaking it.
Sure.
But Daedalus does a really cool thing of designing it to where, like, the component trays are designed to just pull them out, set them on each side of the table, boom. Everyone has the components already nice and set. But yeah, you've probably heard of Caverna. It's a fantastic game.
It's really good.
It was very popular. It's just number one because for some reason she loves it. Every time I'm hanging out with my mom and like I bring some games, she says, "Did you bring Caverna?" And usually I'm like, "Mom, we don't have time to play a 3-hour worker placement game." But you know, still.
Right. Well, I've got 2 honorable mentions.
Okay.
Because I wanted to go with some stuff that I don't always talk about. Mm-hmm. I don't think I always talk about these. But
unfortunately I do.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But 2 that I really like. One that you won't love is called Diamonds.
Oh, I know Diamonds. I've never played it. I know it.
Super good trick-taking game. Mm-hmm. Again, it's spades, but there's some... depending on if you win the suit, you get some diamonds or extra points, and you've got a little player screen, and you the diamonds either go in front of your screen or behind your screen. If they're behind your screen, they're safe, and they're also secret, so people don't know how many points you have. If they're in front of your screen, they could potentially be stolen, which is super fun. Mm-hmm. So anyways, Diamonds is really good. Again, very entry level because most people are familiar with spades or euchre, so it's very accessible. Mm-hmm. With a ton of strategy, and I tend to do fairly well at trick-taking games, so I really like those. Which is maybe why I like them, because I do better at them. Uh-huh. And then another one, worker placement, not near as heavy as Caverna, but always a hit in my house. What'd you just say? That is correct. Lords of Waterdeep. Lords of Waterdeep.
Yeah.
It's very accessible. You don't, if somebody is like put off by Dungeons and Dragons, the theme, you can just be like, these are orange cubes. They're not warriors.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Also, Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, it's just knights and castles. Like, you know, like
Yeah. No,
the Dungeons and Dragons theme is just there if you like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it is for me and my family. We get a ton of play out of it. So much that we did buy a broken token insert for it to just store it better. But yeah, man, it's really good. I love it. We play it all the time.
Yep.
It's
fantastic game.
Super good game.
I should get my mom to play it at some
Love
point.
It's
also all you people out there. I'm in the minority here. Lords of Waterdeep is an insanely thematic game. Just because you don't understand the theme, like I see this game on people's list all the time about like least thematic board games, Lords of Waterdeep. Yes, they're cubes, guys. That's the point. You're a lord. You don't see them as people. You see them as cubes that you push around.
Meta game.
It's the entire point of the game.
Wow,
I'm not even
these
kidding.
Are pawns.
Yeah, they are pawns that you literally. Oh, you need soldiers here. Here's 8 orange things. I don't even know what they are.
Yeah, take these guys.
I find Lords of Waterdeep insanely thematic because the whole point is you're a lord who just looks at them as
named
nothing.
for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
For a reason.
They are just people you send off on missions to die.
You know, I've never heard that pointed out. It's like you see those memes where it's like I was today years old when
yeah.
Like I was today years old when I had Lords of Waterdeep presented to me in that way, and now I want to go play it again because it's even better.
Whenever I play Lords of Waterdeep with my game group, we call all the cubes, all the like the soldiers and the stuff, we call them squires. Because that sounds like squares, which is insanely stupid and childish, I know. But it's just like, because it brings out the theme of they're nothing. There goes, I'll send 8 squires, you know? Like, to go, I just hate how much hate that game gets for its theme. Because I find it as one of the most thematic, like, it's more thematic than, Champions of Midgard to me. Champions of Midgard is a fun game, and that Viking theme is cool. But at the end of the day, you're just, like, rolling dice and stuff, and it doesn't feel like you're fighting. In Lords of Waterdeep, it feels like you are a lord who is just pushing people.
You're manipulating.
Like into your own, you know, conspiracy.
I love it.
Anyway,
you know what my response is when people say like, "Oh, it's no theme." It's like I don't care.
Yeah.
I like playing it. Like,
yeah.
Sorry that you are not happy, but I'm gonna be happy because I really like this game.
Great game, whether you see the theme is there or not.
Man, that's such a good argument for that theme. Such a good argument for that theme. That's really good, man.
I'm just saying.
Well done. Well, that's been our Mother's Day show.
Well done.
Well done.
Get it? Yeah.
Don't eat your steak that way. It's terrible.
Jeez.
It's too tough. But no, this is our Mother's Day episode. We are back from quarantine. We're going to keep coming back at you weekly. We're going to try to mix it up. We'll do top 5s. We might just have discussion topics, whatever. It seemed like Mother's Day was a good excuse to talk about some games we could play with our families.
Smart reason.
So continue to be safe. Keep playing games. I've been Tim.
I've been Dan.
Thanks for watching the Board Game Rundown. I always feel like
whoops.
Somebody's watching me. If you like what you saw,
if you want to see us make more content like this,
please hit that thumbs up.
Go ahead and subscribe.
Give us a share on social media.
Remember to ring that little bell, it really helps.
Be sure to check out our unboxing videos.
Don't forget we have reviews.
And also the news show.
Thanks for watching the Board Game Rundown.